So, how are you today? How are you today, Alla?
I am good. A little nervous. Hi, Rose. We can see you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I've been um, I've been keeping busy. I've been keeping busy. Hi, Lee.
Alla, you're muted.
Yeah.
Hello.
How have you been doing?
Fantastical.
Good.
Actually, I was quite in a low mood this morning, but luckily I didn't do anything about it, so it went away.
Oh, there you go.
Funny how it works.
Whoop. Sorry, I will mute myself because I'm
Okay.
wandering around. I apologize.
So today we're talking about happiness. Let's chat a little bit about happiness. So what is it? Where does it come from? How do we know we have it? Does it really come from inside? So many questions. What occurred to me this morning as I was, thinking about our chat today was, I remember when I was younger, being happy was, okay, well, first it was like, okay, well, when I meet the man, I will be happy. And then it was like, when I get married, I will be happy. And then that didn't work out. And then I was like, wow, well, that doesn't work. Let me see. When I have the career, then I will be happy. And, I worked on that and that didn't work. And I suffered. I suffered for a while because, I had happiness allocated to, something outside of me. And yeah, and then I just realized it has nothing to do with outside of me, because it's really, I'm the one who gets the, like happiness is like a feeling to me. Like it's yeah, it's a feeling that comes from inside, like comfort, maybe. What do you think, Ella? Like, have you ever thought about it? Am I being weird?
Well, if you mean by comfort, being in a peaceful, loving feeling, which is an opposite of insecure, then yes.
Mm.
Yeah. What occurs to me is that happiness is so important that it's put in Declaration of Independence for the United States, and we are supposed to pursue it, to be in pursuit of it.
Mm.
Well, for one thing, it is good because it is being acknowledged that, yeah, there is such thing as happiness, and you're entitled to it. You're entitled to have it. But where do you get it, right? As you mentioned, you will be happy, you think you'll be happy when we get married, we'll be happy when we get divorced, we'll be happy when we have a child, we'll be happy when the child is out of the house. There's always something that do you think will make us happy? There's always something that is on the other side of the rainbow that we call happiness. But it's definitely not on this side.
It's definitely what?
Not on this side of the rainbow.
Oh, yeah.
It is out there and we are in pursuit of it.
Mm.
And it requires a lot of work and soul searching and meditating or doing inner work or making money or getting someone or something or events to line up just right so they will make us happy.
That's what we think.
That's what we think. Can I tell you Linda's story, Linda Pransky?
Of course.
In case you guys don't know her, she has been a 3P practitioner for over 40 years. And when she was young, and she thought that she was already old, I think she was 26, she said in her story. She talked to Sydney Banks. She caught him kind of off guard when he was alone in a restaurant. He was usually surrounded by a bunch of followers. And she asked him what she should do because every year she gets more and more unhappy. And he said, well, dearie, do you remember the time when you were happy? She said, yeah. Do you remember how it felt? Yeah. Well, do more of that. And she's like, well, thanks for nothing. Well, she thought to herself, but she thanked him. And when she left the restaurant, all of a sudden it hit her like a ton of bricks, the way it often does, that she doesn't have to wait to be happy. She doesn't have to wait for something to happen for her to be happy. She can be happy right now, in the moment.
Yeah. Yes, Rose. Hold on, I'm going to mute you. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Like what you were saying, that like being happy when you'll get married, or being happy when whatever, new job, lose the weight. And like the other lady said, that we can be happy right now, but it takes a lot of work, you know, because we're not alone, like in our little bubble. We're connected to all other people's, like in my case, let's say I have never really had any serious relationships. And I was always told by my mom, especially my mom, like one of my cousins, oh, you have to find somebody, and then you'll find happiness. And then, but I was already thinking I was doing great. You know, I didn't have any problems like all my other friends suffering with a boyfriend, a husband. I was free as a bird. You know, I would do what I want, when I want, with whom I wanted. But you know, those the external sources of always people telling you, oh no, when you're. So anywho, I met somebody like 10 years ago, and now he's the father of my child, but now I'm back to square of being single. I'm a single mom now. And I'm trying to work hard now to get that happy feeling again happening, and removing all that negative energy that I had for so long, like being belittled by others and by my ex-husband, ex-spouse. And while I'm doing that, you know, I know it's in the now, I know I can be happy, but whoops, sorry, my boy just flipped my phone. So so it becomes like, I know I can be happy now, but I'm like flashback 10, 15 years ago. And again, and it's not to badmouth my mom, but even she's saying, oh, honey, why don't you find a man? Oh, you know, you're going to be so much better. I'm going, why? You know, I have my house, I have my car, I have my job. But these are external sources that are trying to make me believe that it's not okay to be happy all by myself and my son, you know. People trying to make me believe that I'm missing, I'm lacking of something. So if you're not strong enough mentally, I think that it's easy to get put in doubt. You know, you think you're doing a good job, but then other people just put that doubt in your head. Am I making sense?
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying. I totally relate to what you're saying. Because I'm the same, right? I'm single. I'm not married. I have no kids. And, you know, I felt like for the longest time, I felt like, well, in my younger years, I was like, well, I have to do it. You know, like I have to find somebody. And then once I found somebody, it was like, okay, well, now I have to get married. And then, okay, well, now I have to get a house. And now I have to, and I had to really, yeah, it's, once you see that it's coming from the inside and you can like be grounded in this is okay. Other people will think what they're going to think. And just be put, like, have both your feet, like I can see how before both my feet weren't solid on the ground. I kind of still believed that I had to do that in order to, so whenever somebody would come up to me and say you should meet a man to be happy, I'd kind of go into it, you know, I kind of like, oh yeah, but now I'm so solid. I'm standing on solid ground, and I'm happy with how it is. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So the outside influences are their influence. They're not mine anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd like to hear, I don't know, Lee, if you have anything to add, because Lee has a company, and he's like, it's called Very Happy, I think, or I don't even remember, but it's something with happy.
Yeah, spread happy.
Spread happy, yes, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
And you know, I heard a really good analogy, and that we talked about. You talked, sorry, about the pursuit of happiness. You know, that's in the. I never know that. I'm from England, so I hear little snippets of it. So I don't actually know it. I confess. I haven't got my citizenship yet, but I'll have to learn it then. But I heard that the pursuit of happiness tends to be somewhat misquoted, because the pursuit in those days had a different connotation to it. It meant like the practice of. So it's like the practice of, you know, brushing your teeth, or the practice of good hygiene, and so on. And that really struck me, because it's not saying the pursuit as in go look for it. It's the pursuit as in live it. And I love that. It takes so much pressure off. Again, it seems that we've lost the wisdom when we think that we're so much more intelligent now. We seem to have had, in a sense, more intelligence way back when. Now we're thinking of pursuit as we need to constantly pursue something, rather than just really uncovering and just allowing that natural feeling to come through. So that's my take on that idea. You know, this morning, as I said, that this morning I felt pretty low and had nothing whatsoever to do with Cinco de Mayo. I don't know why you would even bring that up. Cinco de Mayo and the tequilas that I had last night. And this morning, normally I would have looked for something to connect that with. Why am I feeling so low? Why am I, you know, having these feelings? Me of all people who teaches this stuff, you know? And I would have done that. I really would have done that. And this morning I was proud of myself, I might say, in the fact that I didn't connect it to anything except for the Cinco de Mayo bit. But I didn't connect it to anything. And I had this realization, which of course sounds so silly to say, but it was the idea that I don't need to feel good in order to carry on with my day. I don't need to feel good in order to get my projects done or get my, you know, whatever I need done. I just carry on about my day. And that links in with that pursuit of happiness. It's not be, you know, constantly looking for, I'll be happy when, but just carry on about your day, because that's your pursuit of happiness in its right connotation, as in the practice of happiness. And lo and behold, I got things done. I had a couple of lovely conversations, and without doing a thing, I feel very happy right now. And as you can tell, I worked on my beard. You like it?
I was actually looking at that.
I'm just having fun with it. It will gradually disappear by the end of the day.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah, I think like one thing that I've noticed for myself is, you know, like sometimes I'm perfectly happy, you know, like all of a sudden, and it actually ties in with what Rose was talking about. You know, like I could be absolutely perfect, and then all of a sudden something's gonna occur outside of me. I'm gonna do something with it, you know, like I'm gonna make it become something that will take me away from that feeling of happiness, you know, and innocently we think that it comes from that thing that just occurred, right? But you know, like a second ago I was fine and I was doing what I was doing, and then this thing occurred, and then I started doing something else. I could have just not judged this thing that occurred, you know, and
Right.
and kept this feeling instead of all of a sudden judging the feeling and then making that more important than this cool feeling of peace, you know? Yeah. Yeah, Alla, you were about to say?
Yeah,
No, it's just
I just love that new connotation that I didn't think of, pursuit. It's not doing something from the lack of, but doing something from having it.
right. Yeah, makes it a whole different conversation, doesn't it?
And it makes it so much easier to live your life when you don't believe that what's happening to you right now is something that you need to take into consideration, that you need to give weight and meaning to.
Mm.
If another person makes you angry, how much meaning did you give to it? How a person acts or acts out has really nothing to do with that feeling where where you're coming from. If you decide to pay attention to it, if you decided to judge it, no matter how good or bad, you're adding more and more thinking on top of it. And yes, it takes you further and further away from the feeling. But as we know, all it takes is just one thought to fall back into this meditative state where you belong. I have another George and Linda story, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And it probably happened a little bit differently because it was retold by so many people so many times. But from what I heard, Linda and George like swimming, and Linda is a very good swimmer, George is not. So they were on a lake, and Linda swam right into the middle of the lake, and George followed her. And by the time he got to her, he was having a full-blown panic attack. And she told him, George, for God's sake, turn around and go back to shore. You're having panic attack. And he said, why would I do that? I like swimming. He really did not take his thinking seriously at all. It is just such a part of him where he lives from that it would never even occur to him to do something about bad feeling and let it get in the way of him living his life. That was so profound to me. And a few days after I heard this story, it occurred to me that our likes and dislikes are thoughts too. For example, I don't like cleaning my bathroom, but I do like having clean bathroom. And I realized, why would I let my dislike of cleaning get in the way of me having clean bathroom? It just didn't make any sense at all anymore.
Nice.
Yes, I have a clean bathroom now. And really, if you don't take seriously your thoughts, especially thoughts of other people, they're not going to get in the way of you pursuing your happiness.
Yeah. I think, like, as I'm listening to you, I can see how it took me a while to understand that, because I was attached to that thinking, you know, like whatever the thinking was, I was attached to it. I was like, well, no, it's true, you know. I like, for example, I'll give you an example, like, nobody should treat me XYZ, whatever, you know, like the conversation where you should be treated a certain way. And, you know, that was true. And, you know, when I talked to my friends, they believed me and they agreed with me, and it was true. And we can have a conversation about, you know, many of those thoughts of how you should be treated and how you shouldn't be treated, which is, you know, I'm not saying that we should all of a sudden, you know, treat each other like crap. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that just the thought can take away from how you feel in the moment, just because. But I didn't know I can actually let go of that thought, you know, let go of my grip on the thought, and still have the thought, still, you know, look at, yeah, no, I like to be treated nicely, but I don't have to make it a thing that's gonna take my peace, my happiness, my calm, my feel good moment, you know, like I don't have to stick to it. And that was cool, you know. What do you hear in that? Does anybody hear anything in that?
I hear a lot in this sense today. So apt it always is for each and every one of us, isn't it? That we hear something and we think, oh, that was just for me. Because as I say, I had this, you know, this sort of lull this morning, and also I was going off on a tangent of law of attraction and, you know, so on. And it's funny that I realized today that when I listen to law of attraction, I think about manifesting like this amazing life and so on, and I feel really good. And then I drop and feel really bad. And I realized that I was falling into the trap of the illusion of thinking that I need, again, something to make me feel good, without realizing, thinking I'm talking spiritually and I'm being spiritual. And I'm not looking at the ego or looking at, you know, the materialism trap. I'm thinking in terms of energy, and yet I still had that high and then low, rather than this beautiful. I love the idea of pleasure is ego, because it's sporadic and it's fleeting, and it might be a massive jump, but it will also be a massive drop. Whereas when we have joy and happiness, there's a depth to that, a real, it's a different feeling. And it's beautiful to understand that that is always there, always. Now, pleasure isn't always there. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. It's fleeting. Whereas happiness and joy, that is just, that's our default. And there we are, working so hard to try, again, pursuit, you know, try to get the very thing that if we just stop getting in our own way, it just happens naturally. So there I am trying to manifest something that I already have.
Mm.
And I teach this stuff. Jeez. So I metaphorically give myself a little tap on the wrist, because I thought, not that I'm like Mr. Guru or anything, but you know what I mean, in the sense that I'm in this conversation all the time and still fall into that trap on a regular basis. But it's fun to be aware of that, that's for sure.
You need to tell me you're still human, Lee.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I know. It's fun to be human, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you realize that that's what you're doing, rather than beating yourself up over it or thinking, oh my gosh, not me. You know, how could I do that? I've been trying this. Obviously this stuff doesn't work, because why would I fall in, you know, all these crazy things. But really it's like, no.
Yeah, that's what I love about this understanding. This understanding just teaches me how to get what I'm doing, to understand what my mechanics are, and I'm no different. I might do something different from you or from Alla, from Rose. We might do different things, and some things might be the same, but really we just forget that we made up something and we believe it.
Right.
No?
Yeah.
Were you about to say something, Rose?
No, I said yeah, and just while I have the microphone, I'm happy that you sent me the link to the Zoom,
Yeah.
because I wasn't feeling that good today. It wasn't a good day. And when you sent me the link, I took it as a sign, and that's why I joined. But I'm just feeling very overwhelmed, and I wasn't feeling all that happy today. So thank you for sending me the link, even though I didn't ask for it, but I needed it. And what Lee said, it's true. Like, he says he teaches that thing and he still gets, so it just, I don't feel that alone. It's just, it was meant to happen today. And thank you. I really appreciate it, because there's some days that I feel stronger than others and therefore happier than others. And today was not, it didn't start it to be a good day. So I did say that I was gonna attend to the one on Friday, and then you sent me that like 4 minutes before 1 o'clock. So I'm happy, and I got my phone. I'm hoping it's not gonna, like, battery's gonna die or anything. But it's things like that that I do believe in, that everything happens for a reason. And I'm happy that this little meeting is bringing me good energy. It's good.
Rose, if the only thing that you could get out of this thing is that you're not alone, and that, when I woke up this morning, I was not in a good mood either. And I was like, oh my God, I have to talk about happiness? What the heck, So I think, we just have to remember it passes. It's a transient. That's the cool thing about us. Thank God we don't stay like that all the time. Like, can you imagine us being like all the time? It always passes. We've got sad moments, we've got happy moments, we've got angry moments, we've got blah moments, we've got, it always passes. And we can just be, oh, today I'm blah. And just trust that it's going to pass. Inevitably. For sure it's going to pass. That is just so. Oh, she lost her link. Her phone probably died.
Oh.
But yeah, if we can just learn that, I mean, it's just so relieving to me anyways. Like, oh, I'm not gonna stay angry, I'm not gonna stay sad, I'm not gonna stay unhappy,
Yeah. And when you notice whatever you notice, if you stop giving meaning to it, like, I woke up in a bad mood, comma, therefore I cannot lead Facebook Live today. Or I woke up in a bad mood, comma, because there was Cinco de Mayo yesterday. And that means something else. That means I'm going to suffer all day long and I won't be able to do something I wanted to do. I don't even remember what mood I woke up in. So that means, or I don't know. But if you just notice it and put period at the end, I woke up in a bad mood, period. Then it has no more meaning, no weight, no tangibility to it.
it just is.
It just is.
Right.
Yeah, the suffering comes from the meaning we put in.
Yeah, everything that comes after the comma, that's suffering.
Yeah.
When I was in Santa Monica for our intensive, one morning I was walking towards it, and a homeless guy bumped me for money. Give me the money. And I said, no. And he's like, I'm hungry. I don't know. Oh, I want to buy something to eat. I said, whatever. And then he stood and he just couldn't comprehend it. But I am hungry. And I was thinking, this guy thinks that I'm responsible for his feeding. He treats me like a piñata. The more he hits me, the more money he's gonna get. He has no respect for me as a human being, and all of a sudden it's just, he thinks I'm responsible for feeding him, period. And it was so clear. Yeah, cool beans. I gave him my breakfast bar, but not because it occurred to me, to put the period after that. It just occurred to me that I had some food for him to eat. And he examined it too. Like, he was really picky before he accepted it. But it was just the power of putting a period after the first thought.
Yeah. Welcome back, Rose.
Yeah, my phone died.
I know. I went, oh, their phone died probably. Wow. So I don't know what were you able to hear the rest of the end of the conversation, Rose?
Yes, I heard maybe 15 seconds until after my camera shut down, and then it just I just hurry up and plugged it again.
Okay, good. Okay. So this is very, yeah, what? Sorry?
Sorry.
I think she's frozen now. Yep. So we'll wait till she comes back. I do see that we have people actually watching us on Facebook. I'm looking at Facebook Live. If anybody on Facebook Live has something that they want to ask, they can ask a question. So just saying, there is a little delay. Yeah, now.
Yeah, I wanted to ask a question,
Yeah.
everyone. So do you think happiness is a feeling or a state of being or place to be or the essence of humans? What do you think it is? Is it a journey?
I tend to feel like happiness is a feeling. State of being. I think it's, yeah, you know what? Lee said it earlier. I think I think there might be collapsing pleasure and happiness. So perhaps pleasure is a feeling and happiness is a state of being.
For me, it's our default. So the reason, we put feelings as good or bad. Well, that's a perception, isn't it? And to me, happiness is our default. So it's coming home, as Sydney Banks would say. It feels so good, quote unquote, because that's our perception, because it is our default setting. We're not set to feel bad. We're not set to, feel uncomfortable. We're set. Our default is to feel that comfort, to feel that happiness. And when we get out of our own way, we naturally feel that. And the hardest part for me, and I think for, you know, most of my clients and everything else, is getting out of our own way. I mean, it's the craziest thing, isn't it? We're told over and over, or rather we're understanding now, well, there's nothing to do. And it's like, okay, well, how do I do that? And it's weird, isn't it? That, all right, I've personally learned now, coming from a personal growth background, actually, even the doing nothing there's less than that to do. And the hardest thing for me is just to like sit on my hands and like stop. Stop trying to fix it. Stop trying to change it. Stop even trying to get out of a bad feeling. Again, quote unquote bad feeling, because that's a perception. Stop trying to change the clouds, you know? The clouds will just pass and then the sun will shine through again. And even when I'm saying this and I'm laughing about it, because I still find that difficult in one sense. And yet I have that underlying knowing, that underlying understanding that as soon as I'm done messing around, then I'll feel happy. And lo and behold, you know, every time, as far as I know, every single time when I let go and calm down, and not even calm down, just allow myself to, I actually fall into that state, if you want to call that, of happiness. So to me, it's like, just stop. I always send to a lot of people, I don't know if you've ever seen that little skit, and it's like an SNL skit, and it's I've forgotten the guy's name, but he's super well known, and he's a therapist, and what he does is every client comes to him, they tell him their problems and they tell him what they do, and he says, okay, I'm going to tell you what to do. Stop it. And that's all he does. And I love that, because that's it, isn't it? It's just stop it. No, we don't go there. Just stop it. That's it. There you go.
It is. It's a very good. It's a very good skit. I believe I've seen it. Yeah. And I love what you're saying. I really do. It's like, yeah, it's like, it's how being happy or happiness is everything before thought. Everything before I bring in my judgment, my thinking, my values, my, you know, everything before, like before all of that. It's very interesting to look at it that way.
Very free.
Yeah, so there's nothing to do.
I remember that skit. So I think the guy's name is Bob Newhart, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes, it is Bob Newhart.
I wonder if it was based on the 3 principles.
It seems to. Works very well, doesn't it?
What I like about this phrase, falling back, because you really just let everything go and allow it to happen. There can't possibly be less than you need to do. Thank you, guys.
I was, again, in my law of attraction mode, I was listening to an analogy, and I thought it's very relevant in the fact of somebody went white water rafting, and as they got in the boat, the instructor said, "Listen, this is not Disneyland. We cannot shut this off, right? So you don't want to try and resist this stuff. You don't want, you're going with the river, whether you like it or not." And I thought, well, that's pretty much it, isn't it? That's our thoughts. We're trying to resist our thoughts, and we're trying to change our feelings, and we're trying to do all these things. But hey, no matter what, we're going with the river. So the best thing we can do is wait for wait for the calm waters to come in again, and then we'll be feeling, again, going back to that happiness.
Hang on tight.
Right. Yeah.
Hang on to the boat.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, this is a beautiful conversation. Thank you for being there. Is there anything you guys would like to add?
I'm from England. I say I could talk for England. I can always add stuff, but I don't want to.
Well, there's England, USA, and Canada here today.
Oh, cool.
Well, on Friday, we're having a conversation about inner calm with my fellow friend, Jason BS. I don't know what his last name is. I just know it's BS. And he's from the UK, so we're gonna have a chat about that on Friday. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So you're going to have a chat about him being from the UK?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna have a chat about him inner calmly.
He's pretty chill dude.
Yeah, he's a chill dude. You're gonna like him, Lee. If you join us, you're gonna like him.
Excellent.
So thank you so much for the chat. I loved it. Thank you for joining me. I think we've looked at great stuff.
Yeah, we put the world to rights. That's no big deal.
Exactly. There you go.
Thank you, Jasmine, for organizing this thing. It's an important topic.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually working on a new 12-week program that is going to be called An Exploration of Happiness. And I see we're going to have those who are going to register are going to have fun. So.
Awesome. Is it already in the making?
It's in the making. I'm going to launch it very, very soon. I'm launching it in both French and English.
And British?
And British, yes. I think I'm going to put British and English together.
No, you can't do that. No.
Oh, so sorry.
Two separate languages.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. You have a great day. Hope to see you very soon. And
Yes.
Well, yes. Thank you, Jasmine.
be happy. Spread happily.
You too. Take care.
Okay,
Thank
bye.
you.
Bye.